Meet Chandaraka. He's a jackal, and in the ancient Indian forests of the Panchatantra fables, this puts him at the bottom of the food chain. He survives on whatever scraps of rotting garbage he can scrounge from the dumps outside the human villages. His survival strategy relies entirely on humiliation. Whenever a lion or tiger approaches, Chandaraka drops down, tail tucked, loudly praising their hunting skills and sharp teeth, hoping his relentless flattery will keep him off the menu. But one morning, a deep, empty ache in his stomach pushes him past his normal limits. The smell of dosa and spices wafts from the human settlement, pulling him out of the safety of the trees and into the dangerous open streets. He barely inches into the market before a feral village dog snaps to attention. Teeth bared, the dog lunges, setting off a frantic, high-speed chase through the narrow alleys, sending fruit and spices scattering across the dirt. With a whole pack of dogs now snapping at his heels, Chandaraka blindly ducks through a doorway, finding himself surrounded by hanging clothes inside a local fabric dyer's workshop. The barking echoes off the walls, closing in. Out of options, the jackal hurls himself into one of the large, liquid-filled vats on the floor, holding his breath as he sinks below. When the coast is clear and he finally pulls his head out, the liquid has soaked into his skin, his ears, and every strand of fur. He is now coated entirely in an intensely vibrant shade of blue that does not exist anywhere in the natural world. Fleeing back to the forest, he doesn't realize it yet, but this desperate maneuver to avoid a dog bite has erased his old identity. He is no longer a scavenger. He looks completely alien to the jungle. The reaction from the apex predators is immediate. The tigers that usually view him as a snack, and the massive elephants that normally ignore him, freeze. They stare at this vibrant creature with genuine fear and awe. In the mythology of ancient India, animals understand the color blue carries heavy significance. It is the hue directly associated with the gods. Chandaraka sees the mighty beasts trembling before him, and instead of scurrying away into the brush, he makes a calculated choice. He steps into the spotlight. When the forest animals send a wise old turtle to cautiously greet the stranger, Chandaraka speaks with newfound authority. He formally announces himself as a special envoy sent directly by Indra, the kin of the gods, to rule over their chaotic jungle. He instantly restructures the entire food chain. The very tigers he spent his life hiding from are appointed as his personal prime ministers, and he decrees that any animal wishing to speak with him must kneel. A golden age of laziness begins for the former scavenger. He abandons his search for garbage, spending his days lounging on rocks while his subjects bring him daily tributes of choice meats, some sweet sugarcane, and fresh fruit. Yet, every single Khan has a weakness. The other jackals in the forest watch his mannerisms from a distance. They notice his particular gait and habits, trading quiet whispers about this unnatural new king. His empire is entirely psychological. A layer of pigment is all it takes to turn fierce apex predators into willing, submissive subjects, proving how quickly reality bends to authority. Weeks into his reign, Chandaraka rests on his favorite rock. With a full belly in the cool night air, he looks up at the bright full moon, deeply satisfied by how effortlessly he has gamed the system. In that moment of complete comfort, biology takes over. An ancient urge rises in his chest, violently overriding his careful, divine persona, and he throws his head back. Ahoo! A chorus of myna birds above immediately recognize the call, spreading the news through the canopy. The majestic envoy of Indra sounds exactly like a common street scavenger. Looking at a cross-section of the fur, we see exactly what the tiger spots. The bright blue pigment only covers the top half. Naturally, grubby gray hair has grown from the roots, pushing the divine blue upward, revealing the truth. The humiliation of being duped by a garbage-eating trickster sends the big cats into a fury. They roar in anger, rallying the entire jungle to chase the exposed fraud out of their territory forever. The fable lays out a harsh reality. You can craft the perfect external image, But true nature is an unstoppable force that requires exhausting, constant maintenance to suppress. Centuries after this Sanskrit tale was recorded, author Rudyard Kipling absorbed its core mechanics to write The Man Who Would Be King. The story was eventually adapted into a classic film starring Sean Connery. It traces two ordinary British soldiers who wander into a remote region and are revered as literal deities. We keep returning to this specific dynamic because the tension is universal. We are fascinated by the audacity of the ultimate con and equally gripped by the quiet, inevitable ticking clock that leads to an imposter's catastrophic unmasking.